All right, again, happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Look, we're almost to the middle of the week, and once we're in the middle of the week, it's just downhill, right? So we've been talking about, again, similar polygons. We talked about there's two things that are true when polygons are similar. All the angles are congruent, because if we change the angles, we change the shape. And similar means they look exactly the same. They're just smaller or bigger versions of each other. And then all corresponding sides are proportional. All a proportion means is that all sides grow or shrink at the same rate. And rate is just short for ratio. And all a ratio is a fraction comparing things, right? And we're comparing the sides of the two different polygons, like a 3:2 ratio. Or I was looking at this figure. I wonder if I can find it. This Michael Jordan little figure. And it was a 1:9. It was a 1:9 figure, meaning it was drawn to scale. It was proportional. So it looks like Michael Jordan just in miniature size. Well, 1998 Michael Jordan. Well, actually, rookie year Michael Jordan. That was the figure. So 1:9, meaning it's a 1:9 ratio, 1/9, meaning the small version over the large version, right? But what if I wanted to look at the large version over the small version? Yeah, then we can say it's a 9:1 ratio. Large over small. We're just comparing the dimension. This is also called your scale factor, right? It's also called your scale factor, right? 9:1 or 1:9. Meaning if I look at it from small to large, 1:9, right here, that just means the figure is 1/9 the size of Michael Jordan. If I look at it from large to small, 9:1, large to small, that's right here. A 9:1 ratio, that just means Michael Jordan is 9 times bigger than the figure. A 9:1 ratio. 9/1 times bigger than the figure. Does that make sense? So that's what we did. So we talked about scale factor. Scale factor is just that ratio between the figures. Once you find the ratio between the figures and you just make a fraction, here's of the matching sides, we can find the scale factor. And that's what we did here. We looked at the matching sides. There's orange, purple, and yellow. So orange is 8/12 if we went small to big. Purple is 10/15 if we went small to big. And yellow is 14/21. And they all simplify to 2/3. You remember that? So that means 2/3 is my scale factor. And then we went from large to small, and it was 3/2, just the flip. So it depends which one's first, because order matters. The order you're talking about, this matters. But mister, yes, student, how do we know what order it goes in? Great question, great question. How do you know what order it goes in? The problem tells you. Look at the question. If we look here, and I know there's a lot of stuff going on, let me erase. If you look here, it tells you. It tells you. It says ABC first, and then it says DEF second. So if I look over here, ABC is the small one, DEF is the large. So that problem tells us that's first, that's second. This is the small, and this is the large. The first one goes on top, second one goes on the bottom. So that's why I put 8/12 and not 12/8, because small goes first. So the orange is 8. This orange is on the large is 12. And there's our ratio, which is called our scale factor. Right? Those of you that do models, that do model cars or anything that's a model, they have a scale factor. They have the scale of what we're doing. Okay, and then once we talked about scale factor, we talked about statements of similarity statements, telling you that little symbol right here, this means similar, right? And then the order they give it to you in, is the order of the things that match. The order of the things that match. So this is, the purples are first, A and D, so they match. B and E are second, C and F are third. And we always use colors so we can match stuff up. And then once we did that, we spent a couple days saying, okay, can we match stuff? If I give you a similarity statement, can we match stuff? And I just say use colors. J and P, then color those purple. K and M, color those green. L and N, color those orange. And then we can make our similarity statements. Remember, the angles are congruent. The angles are equal. The matching angles are equal, right? J and P are matching, so they're equal or congruent. K and M are matching, so they're congruent. And L and N are matching, so they're congruent. So that's what we've done. So now let's get all of this knowledge, all of this stuff, similar polygons, all angles are congruent, all corresponding sides are proportional. That means I can get two ratios and equal them to each other. All the sides have this, all the sides simplify to the same fraction, which is called the scale factor. Okay, and then we look at these similarity statements, which tells us the order of what things are matching. So we need to know what things are matching. And we're going to use all of that to do a problem like this. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you a minute. I'm going to give you a minute to try to solve this problem based on all the stuff we've learned. Okay, go as far as you can. I'm going to give you a minute and a half. Go as far as you can. Based on what we've learned, can you find the length of the side of that figure? Okay, I'll give you a minute and a half. Go ahead. All right, time is up. Time is up. Now, if you didn't finish this, it's okay. I just wanted to see if you can apply. See, this is the big skill you're going to need to know. Like, again, first day of school, I told you, the number one question math teachers get is, when am I going to ever use this in life? I'm never going to use this in life. And I told you the truth. I said, okay, most of the stuff I teach you, you probably aren't going to use in life. But the way you think about how to solve problems and the way you approach these problems, you're going to use for the rest of your life. Right? So looking at this, okay, maybe you might not do this. Maybe you might do this when you, but you should be able to look at this and say, okay, let me start with what I know. Let me apply what I know to this. That's what I'm trying to get you to do. Apply. So that's a great skill. Here's some skills I taught you. Can you apply skills to different situations? That's a life skill you're going to have to know. If someone trains you, when you get a new job and you go to training, they can never train you for every single thing that's going to happen in your job. They can only train you for the basic things. But when other things turn up during your job, you need to use that training you got and apply it to those different situations. Because there's no way, there's an infinite amount of situations you're going to deal with when you're working. Training can never, let you know every single one of those situations. You're going to have to use that training and apply it to the different situations. Same thing here. All this knowledge I taught you, can you apply it to this? So the first thing you should have seen is saying, okay, wait a second. I see a keyword, scale factor, and it's telling me 2 to 3. I can rewrite that, mister, like this, 2 over 3. And if you notice, 2 is a smaller number than 3, isn't it? 2 is a smaller number than 3, so this ratio is small over large. Did you notice that? The 2 is on the top, the 2 is first, the 3 is in the bottom. So this is a small to large. So the ratios we're looking at are small to large. Remember, because order matters. You need to know which one goes on top, which one goes on the bottom. And if you look at these figures, can you tell which one's the small one, which one's the large one? Yeah, this one's the small one. This one's the large one. Okay, so we know that the scale factor is 2 to 3. That means if I know this side and I know this side, I can make a fraction of this, whatever this is to whatever this is, and it'll simplify to 2/3. Always, because 2/3 is the scale factor. Whenever I put the two numbers on top of each other, if it always simplifies to that scale factor, because that scale factor is that proportional that you're shrinking. That's the rate that you're shrinking and growing the figure. So I'm not going to do that side. You see the one I painted green? I'm not going to do that side because there's nothing on there. I'm going to do the side that actually has something on there. So this side and this side have things on there. So can I make a ratio for that? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. But which one's going to go on top, the 42 or the x? Which one goes on top, the 42 or the x? Well, we just determined that it's small over large, isn't it? So which one's the small one, 42 or x? 42. Very good. So 42 goes on the top and x goes underneath. There you go. This was the hardest part. This is the hardest part you're going to do to do these problems, the setup. Okay, once you have the setup, we spent all last week solving these problems. These are proportion problems where you just cross multiply and solve. So the hardest part is getting it set up. So the first thing you do is you see scale factor. You write the scale factor as a fraction because that's your ratio. And it's supposed to equal the ratio of the other sides. So the ratio of the other sides is 42 over x, and I put 42 on top because we know our ratios are small over large, and we put small over large, 42 over x, because those are corresponding sides. These ratios are just comparing sides. That's all a ratio is. You're comparing two things. Small side, and it's matching large side. That's it. Okay, so now what do we do? And any questions before we do that? Any questions on the setup? Because this is the most important part, the setup. So no questions on the setup? Okay, so now that we have this set up, now we just solve. How do we solve? Remember, cross products. This times this, 3 times 42 equals this times this, 2 times x. This is why we spent so long last week, so we wouldn't get to this step and go, how do I do this? I don't know how to do this. I forgot. We spent so long, you just cross multiply, and then we solve. 3 times 42. Well, if you don't know 3 times 42, just get your handy dandy calculator. Right? Yes, you can use calculators. And do 3 times 42 is 126 equals 2x. And then divide by 2, divide by 2. So x equals 63. So now, before you say that's it, always go back to the question and see what they're asking. Find the value of x. Okay, find the value of x. We're done. We're done. Okay. Always go back to the question and see what they're asking. They may be asking something different. They may be asking something different. So I'll give you a minute to copy this and ask any questions. Somebody asked in the chat, are the problems going to get harder than this? What do you think? Have you been in a math class before? Yes, they are. They will get more difficult. But here's the good news. Will the steps change? No. Do we still have to get two ratios and equal them to each other? Yes. Do we still have to cross multiply and solve? Yes. It's just what the figures look like or what's on the figures or the x's, the numbers may get more complicated, but the steps do not change. You still need two ratios that have to be equal to each other because that's proportional, right? That's keeping your figure growing and shrinking at the same rate. You need those ratios to be equal. You don't want one side growing faster than the other, right? That's what this means. If the ratios are equal, that's a proportion. That means they're growing and shrinking at the same rate. What do you mean 2 times 21 and 3 times 21? I don't understand what you mean by 2 times 21 and 3 times. So somebody in the chat asked, Mister, could you have done 2 times 21 and 3 times 21 and would have gotten the same answer? I don't know what you're talking about. Where did 21 come from? It's to get the answer in an easier way. Okay. I want to hear your thinking. That's good, but I don't understand where you got 21 from. 42 divided by 2. Why 42 divided by 2? Because you said 2 times 21 and 3 times 21. 2 times 21 is 42. 3 times 21 is 63. (42) divided by 2. It's 21. But why would you divide 42 by 2? Let me know your thinking. No, that's good. I want to hear different ways of thinking of doing this, but I don't understand why you would divide 42 by 2. Let me know. Explain that to me. Yeah, of course. So they kept it like this. So that's a good, so right here, right? So instead of multiplying this out to get a bigger number, you keep it 3 times 42. Now, if you're comfortable doing this, yes, If you're comfortable crossing things out, then that's fine. So I would do that. The reason I did this is because there's a lot of students who are not comfortable doing this. Let me show you what we're going to do. We're going to do 2 and 42. See that? You see how 42 divided by 2? We did this. We canceled out. And we got 20. And then we did 21 times 3, which is 63 equals x. So you can do it that way. So this is a different way to do this. This is a different way to do this. You get the 3 times 42, and instead of multiplying it out, you keep it 3 times 42, because when you're going to divide, when you're going to divide by 2 on both sides, you can just divide 42 by 2 and get 21, and then multiply that 21 times 3 to get 63. That works too. If you're comfortable canceling things out that way, I would recommend doing it this way, because yes, it is a lot easier, and you don't have bigger numbers. If you're not comfortable canceling out this way, then don't do it. Just do this and use your handy dandy calculator. But if you are comfortable, yes, this is a great way to do it, so you don't have to get big numbers. Good job. Good job. I like that. Okay, here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to try this one. I'm going to give you 2.5 minutes. This is a little different. If you notice, they don't give you the scale factor. You have to come up with that yourself. So, and they're asking for the value of x, so they want to know what this equals. Can you do it? So I'll give you 2.5 minutes to try it. Do as much as you can. Look at all the stuff you've taught and see if you can apply it to this. All the stuff that I've taught you, all the stuff in your notes, all that training I've given you. Can you apply that to this and try to get an answer? Okay, give you 2 minutes. All righty, time is up. Okay, so those of you that are stuck, it's okay, but hopefully you went back and you said, okay, let me apply some of the stuff we've done before. Maybe I can't get to the answer, but maybe let me apply this. So if you look here, you see that they gave you a similarity statement, didn't they? They gave you a similarity statement. They told you what is similar. So what did we do with that similarity statement before? Anybody? So first of all, yes, it's large over small. So if we look here, this is the large and this is the small. Very good. So they did PQRS first. So that's the large over, and they put small second. So we're going to do ratios that are large over small. Very good. So our ratios are going to be large over small. Okay. What else did we do when we were given a similarity statement like this? I don't know, mister, I forgot. Okay, if you forgot, this is why we take notes. This is the number one reason we take notes, because we forget. We are humans and we forget. The first thing we do is we match it up, and we use colors. We've decided to use colors because it makes our life easier. When they give us the similarity statement, they give it to us in that order for a reason. It's because the 3 letters on the left side match up with the 3 letters on the right side, the corresponding parts. So A with D, B with E, C with F. So let's do the same thing with our problem. Okay, so let's do the same thing here. So let's match up with colors. So I'm going to say P is first and W is first. So that means P and W match up. And this makes our life so much easier when we're trying to match up sides. Because some of you are like, wait, PQ goes to WX? No, wait. And you can just say, oh, purple, green. It makes our life so much easier. So let's continue. Q is second. X is second. So Q and X match. R is third. Y is third. So R and Y match. S is last. Z is last. So S and Z match. Right? You should have at least done that. Match up the corresponding pieces. Match up the corresponding pieces with colors. So that way you can see what matches. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make large over small. So let's look for a side that has large over small. If I look here, I see that blue, orange. Actually, let's save this for later, because that's the X. Blue, orange is the X. Let's save the X for later. Let's look for one that has a number. What about purple blue? Purple blue has a number, and purple blue has a number. See that? See how purple blue, PS, has a number, and purple blue over here, WZ, has a number? So I'm going to do that. I'm going to make a ratio of the large first. So this one's the large, so I'm going to do this one first. So purple blue is 75. Remember, we're doing purple blue is 75 over the purple blue of the small one, which is 40. Right? That's my scale factor. Now, if I simplify it, I get a more simplified scale factor, but that's my scale factor, 75 over 40. Now that equals, let's do that to two other sides. Let's do it to the sides with the X. So I'm going to start with large. Always start with large. Blue, orange, blue, orange, blue, orange. So blue, orange here is X. Blue, orange here is 32. So which one goes on top, X or 32? Well, we do the large on top, so X goes on top. And then 32 goes on the bottom. The measurements of the small ones, that's what this means. The measurements of the small ones go on the bottom. The measurements of the large ones go on the top. And then the actual ratio are the matching sides. These are the matching sides. 75 and 40 match. How do we know? Because it's blue, purple. Blue, purple. The colors tell us. How do we know X and 32 match? Because of the colors. Blue, orange. Blue, orange. See how easy the colors make your life? So now you've done the hardest part. That was pretty simple, but you've done the hardest part to set up. Now comes the easy part. Cross multiply. 40 times X equals 75 times 32. Now again, we can do it we can multiply 75 by 32. So let's do it that way first. Let's do 75 times 32. Again, get your handy dandy calculator. 75 times 32 equals 2400. So we get 40x equals 2400. Divide both sides by 40. And we get x equals 60. Okay, and then we go back to the question. It says find the value of x. Okay, we found the value of x. We're done. We are done. There's my answer. Mister. Yeah. Could I have done it that other way that that student said about not multiplying them? Okay, let's try that. So somebody said, Mister, could we have done it the other way? Let's try that. So let's do 40x equals 75 times 32. And I'm not going to multiply these two. I'm going to keep them like that so I can cancel. Divide by 40, divide by 40. So x equals, well, let's look here. I can divide 75 and 40 by 5, right? So if I divide 40 by 5, I get 8. And if I divide 75 by 5, I get 15. And then I can divide 8 and 32 by 8, right? So if I divide 8 by 8, I get 1. And if I divide 32 by 8, I get 4. And so now what's 15 times 4? 15 times 4 is 60. So it works that way too. So if you are comfortable doing what I just did right here with the canceling, gets you your answer. If you're not comfortable with that, just multiply it out and divide and you'll get the same answer. Okay, so those of you that are comfortable with canceling, you can do it this way and cancel out. So you don't have to multiply it out and get a big number. If you're not comfortable with this way, then do it this way. Just multiply it out and divide using your handy dandy calculator. Okay, so I'll leave this up for a minute for you to copy or ask questions. Please let me know if you have questions. We went over 2 problems. We go over them very, very slowly. I show you multiple ways to get your answer. I show you how to use colors to make your life easier to set this up, because setting up these problems are the hardest ones. If you are still confused after I've done all of this, you need to ask me questions. Now, if you're like, now again, I'm going to be honest, and I know it happens a lot in this class. Some of you zone out. Right? Some of you zone out, you're busy, there's a million things going on behind you. I get it. This is why I record all of our lessons. I'll put it on YouTube right after class. I'll put it up on YouTube. I'll put the links in Schoology. Or if you just want to go straight to YouTube, it's Math Riot. That's the YouTube channel. Okay. You can watch it again, maybe when it's quieter, maybe when you're more focused. Okay, so that's why I record these, so you can go back and look at it. And then you can pause me, you can fast forward, you can go to the part that you want. You don't have to listen to the whole thing again. Okay? So yes, I understand. Some of you are like, Mister, I know you went through it slow, and I still don't understand it because my whole family's behind me talking, and they're not letting me focus. Or my little brother's bugging me right now. Or I have to watch my cousin right now while I'm doing. There's a million different things going on in your lives. I understand that. We were actually talking about that in our teacher meeting yesterday, how this kind of opened a lot of teachers' eyes because you've told us, hey, I have a hard life. I have a lot of things going on in my life. But some teachers don't believe you. And a lot of teachers' eyes were opened because we actually see and hear what's going on, right? So it's in the, if you go to Schoology, right, and log in. And then you go to our course. Right, and just pick a week. Right here, there's a video. There's their link to the video. Click here. It'll take you to the channel. Right, take you to the channel, and there's the video. And so the channel is, I can't zoom in, but it's called Math Riot. M-A-T-H, right, like a riot, like, like a riot, but math. So I will put the links if you don't remember that. We have 355 subscribers. Again, if you can subscribe and hit that like button, that'll help the algorithm. That'll help me reach 1,000. But if not, you don't have to. But yes, just go here, and this is where you see the videos. I will put the links in Schoology, but if not, you can go straight to YouTube and just look for Math Riot, look for that little symbol, and that's my channel. All right, that's it for today, guys. We will continue this tomorrow. But basically, so the homework and classwork is due tomorrow. I don't know, some of you send me emails saying, hey, mister, I didn't do the homework because I didn't understand all of it. Again, I will never give you homework if I haven't completely finished the lesson. Okay, so that homework is due tomorrow. And tomorrow we're going to practice this in groups like we did last time. Okay, I'm going to have some oh, okay. So I'm going to put the breakout rooms tomorrow again, so you can go work with your friends, or you can work in the big room with me for help. You can do tutoring. Miss Torres, do you have that tutoring information? Or Miss Rivas, do you have that tutoring information? It's still going on, right? Tutoring during lunch and all right, if you don't have any questions, guys, that's it for today. Take care. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, and we will do some classwork tomorrow and finish up the homework. You should start the homework so it's not all, you don't have to do it all tomorrow. But other than that, have a great Tuesday, and see you tomorrow.